Okay, let's see here. 51. Oh, that's right. They forgot that they changed the side panel thing in this. Where's the notes? Here's the notes. 51. Oh, okay. One we have not done. Nice. Okay. So, 51 is... What is something that gets under your skin? What's like your pet peeve?
People who cheat. People who cheat specifically to get their magic.
I wonder who that could be directed at.
Every sorcerer, warlock, cleric, paladin, some rangers.
Hey.
Alright, how about Jinku and Zay?
I mean, for Zai, it's pretty simple. Her biggest pet peeve is just, pretentious assholes thinking they're better than everyone else for no reason other than that's their opinion. Or they have money.
Alright.
People that are just mean to people in general. Just meanies.
Meanies.
Jinku doesn't like anyone that doesn't like cats.
That too.
Fair. Okay. Alright, let me get a map up here.
How many cats do you think she's got in her room at this point?
Higher than she can count.
That's great.
Probably roll a D100 to see how many cats I have.
Oh, God.
Roll D100. Fire away, why not?
I'm scared that D100 is the scale.
Well, I mean,
Hey,
they
Jack.
come and go as they
Good to
please.
see ya. Coco and Pumpkin are upstairs. We'll be sure to pet them.
75.
Hope you're doing good down there too.
Oh my God.
Hey,
Oh my.
I don't know.
Oh my.
You guys don't know.
I mean, with the amount of them that are probably street cats, I mean, they're probably not all in there at the exact same time.
No,
They
they come and go as they please.
They come in and out. There's probably 75 roughly, you know.
Give or take 10.
Yeah. That's great. Let's see. Oh, Torta, since you're here, the question of the day was, what is something that gets under your skin? Like, what's your pet peeve?
People that have too many cats.
Cat people.
You don't know about it.
That ammonia smell.
He might know about that.
You know, Jingu keeps her room very clean. They don't pee in there.
Okay. Alright, let me reshare the map here. So Tortoise got it too. Here we go. Alright. So anybody remember anything about what you're up to
Oh my
last
gosh,
time?
you're asking a lot.
I think we mostly just explored like the downstairs here. We met some little dude who'd been basically kidnapped, and we told him we'd free him when we came back around.
Oh yeah, the
I don't remember
didn't
his
he?
name.
Oh, he's a beekeeper.
Yeah.
Because we
Oh, yeah,
made a
I know that.
deal.
And we told him that we would we'd make him a business deal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember his name though.
His.
I'm pretty sure it was a pun.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure it had something to do with honey.
Oh yeah, it was Beppis Honeymaker.
And then we ended right before we were about to get into a scuffle.
All right.
We do that a lot.
We're good at it.
Yeah. So, to fill in the in-betweens
There's a lot in there, but
between Beppis
What?
and the end. So,
she remembers what she remembers.
I mean, you got the part right before we ended, so that's good.
I got the beginning and the end. What else do you need?
Exactly.
So yeah,
God.
so you guys.
He's so needy.
So you guys, had kind of snuck out of where like the fights were still going on since Torta and Boo had done some successful walloping there, and were kind of free to, enjoy themselves at the festivities around here. So you guys all took the opportunity to try to poke around, see what you could find out,
Oh, great.
and
And a portal.
you guys did, yes. You guys had found that there was a portal pretty much straight east of where you guys are standing right
All right,
now.
and that
we've
went
been-
to the sewer.
Before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was where Jenku met the brain puppy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. So you found that
Not
portal
that
out
Jenku
there.
would remember it.
Nope.
Also fair. So you did find that portal that linked to another lair of the Xanathars that they'd used before that you guys had been to. You guys kind of explored around the basement. You found like some storage rooms. There was like one that had like a bunch of like fire sand for some reason. You found what looked like some sort of mausoleum of like past Xanathars. You found Beppis, and while you guys were down there in the basement, some sort of commotion started breaking out upstairs. There was like a room full of guards that were kind of getting drunk and partying down there, and something was happening upstairs, and somebody came down and like called for them, and they all kind of went running off. There's a couple goblins who were fans of Boo and Torta that you guys knocked out for fun. Or actually, well, they kind of wanted to be knocked out. They thought it would be. They were very drunk.
Wanted to get punched by the businessman.
Yeah, they wanted to get punched by the businessman. And you happily obliged. But you guys had come back upstairs, and you guys are still kind of poking around. You're trying to find like where this part of the artifact would be at, and you don't seem to have found a really conclusive location for that yet. But you guys came up out of the basement.
We can't get to yet, is my guess.
But you guys came up out of the basement here, and we're kind of rounding the corner to go back through this kind of large central room where people had been kind of dancing and partying before, and there were a bunch of Xanatharian guards that came in the other door that were kind of after whatever was going on, and see you guys coming in the other way, which was not really a way that regular patrons should have been going into anyway, so that automatically kind of made you suspicious. And so they ran into the room, and then behind them you saw a group of drow come in behind the Xanatharian guard, seemingly also in the middle of whatever they're up to. And so we have kind of three-way
And
Standoff.
aren't they the drow that we recognized from the pier?
Roll a history check.
Well, I thought you said that.
Oh,
But
did I?
Sure.
Yeah, roll a history check anyway. Whatever. What the heck?
Making you roll a skill check on information you freely gave.
Yeah, I honestly can't remember if I did or not.
I am like 99% positive that last
You know what?
session
I'm pretty
you
sure
said that we recognized the drow, or at least Boo, myself, and Torta would recognize them.
Okay, fair. I mean, it's. I mean, that's kind of most of the only notable drow you've really interacted with at all. But yeah, it does seem to be reminiscent of the ones you ran into a long ass time ago. A couple times, actually. You've ran into them a few times in a couple different places. And now you're running into them here. So, we start up. We are in this
I like them
room
as
here.
much now as I did then.
which is to say, not at all.
Yeah.
So, if everyone could roll some initiative here.
If everyone would shut up and let him talk.
No. Because if he talks, he'll finish, and then we got a freaking battle.
Oh, sure, now I roll a good number. Why is it always initiative?
I mean, that's a good number to roll good on. Compared to just some random skill
I rolled
check.
a shitty initiative. I shouldn't have. I have +7 on initiative.
Except it's not really the good thing to roll on because it only affects your first turn because it randomizes after that.
No, it doesn't randomize. It re-rolls for you.
Yeah, it re-rolls for you.
That's the same thing as randomizing.
Okay. Oh, wait, let me roll mixes here. There we go. Okay. Alright, so, Torta had walked into this room and, got seen by this group and this other group, and they all run in here, and everybody's kind of looking at each other. Zai, you're up at the top. So you're in this hallway back here with everybody. And you can see a whole bunch of dudes up ahead.
We're fucked.
We can
Do
always
you
go
see
back
something
around.
that I don't? Because it's me and Boo at the top.
Oh, are these guys invisible still? Hold on. Oh, I scrolled down. I'm stupid.
There is not first.
I'm sorry. I scrolled the combat tracker down. Because I was looking for...
Also
looking for
doesn't
mix.
want to be first.
Fair. Alright, Torta, you're first, actually. Now that the combat tracker is properly scrolled.
That's a much better starting person.
Indeed.
What are you up
Tortoise
to?
should always start our combat.
And technically it makes sense, because Torta's in front, then Boo, then me.
That did kind of work out nice, didn't it?
So Torta's gonna go into battle mode, pop out the arms as a bonus action, and take his leap.
Oof.
Oh, jeez. All the way across the room. So you fly over the heads of these Xanathar bandits that are here in the middle here. Leaping down on these drow. Fists out. Fists flying. Laying in a few good attacks here. dang.
Last punch, right to his face, right in the kisser.
Nice. Very nice.
It's beautiful to behold.
A wonderful flurry of blows. This guy's looking pretty beat up. All right. Anything else, Torta, besides your flying whirlwind of doom?
Nope, that's it.
All right. Boo.
Okay, I'm gonna move into the room and like climb along the wall here.
Oh, right. Yep. Okay.
And then once I get to about here, I will use Burning Hands angled northward.
Ooh, very nice.
It's a 15-foot cone.
So it would hit like the bottom two bandits, it looks like.
Yeah. It won't hit.
All right, one of them saved, one of them did not. Go ahead and roll. Ooh, that's a lot of dice. Whoo! All right. So your burning hand, I'm guessing that's just like fire eruption out of your hands, right?
I will always use my staff as a focus.
Okay, out of your staff. Cool. All right, so that comes bursting out of the staff, kind of scorching down from where you're kind of hanging up on this wall here onto these two southern bandits in the room here. One goes down in the flames. The other looks pretty toasted from this, but had managed to like dodge very slightly and kind of get caught on the edge, so only got moderate burns instead of severe. Still not looking too hot. Anything else?
Yes, I will say, boom, roasted.
Nice. All right.
I need more drinks for that shit to be funny.
Drinking, does that count?
All right. Let's see. Let's go to. Let's see which one. All right. So it brings us to bandit number 2 is the northern one here in this room. So he, like Torta comes sailing over, all these guys here, and he has kind of a look of surprise on his face at first. Seeing Torta come over, arms pop out. It's a bit of a stunning display. But he sees, Torta going over and wailing on these guys. And, he kind of looks at all of you guys over in the hollow there and kind of looks at Torta over there. And, looks up at Boo up on the wall there. And he pulls out his scimitar and decides to go over this way.
That seems awfully rude.
So he runs into the hall here, and from where he was standing, he didn't really have the best of views into this hall here. So he comes into the hall, sees Yuzai, and then also Mix and Jinku standing behind you, and starts to wonder if this was the best decision out of the other options. There were a lot of bad options in the other directions, but nevertheless, he raises his scimitar here and slashes at you, Zyme.
I don't like it.
Hitting twice. Doing...
Very good damage.
Yeah, not very good damage, though. But he did manage to hit you twice, slashing at you there. Which brings us to you, Zai.
Angie. Zai summons her spiritual weapon.
Ooh, the scythe is out. Nice. Okay. And where are you putting your scythe?
behind him,
Behind him. Okay.
so he's trapped.
Nice. Regrets.
Lots of regrets.
Lots for Gertz.
Okay, you're gonna have to remind me how to roll this because it's been a while.
Hold on. Let me look at your sheet because it has been a while. Let's see. Spiritual weapon. Okay, so if I remember correctly, with spiritual weapon, you roll the attack for, the swing of the weapon to hit the thing. And if it hits, then you roll the damage.
Okay.
Is that the one that you can use a bonus action to attack again?
Sure is.
It sure is. It can move 20 feet and repeat the attack against a creature within 5 feet on it. That is correct.
I used to love that one when I played a cleric.
And I'm gonna use my bonus action to attack again. Because this dude done fucked up.
You made a bad decision.
He certainly did do so.
Well, he just took, 20 damage? So yeah, he made bad decisions.
Alright, anything else aside from... Let's see, so that was the attack, and then you did the bonus attack. Right?
Yeah,
Okay.
so the first attack hit and did 9 damage, and then the second attack also hit and did 11.
So that was the action bonus action. Okay, cool. Alright.
Yep. I'm done. I'm just gonna keep him sandwiched and uncomfortable.
Cool. Good plan. Alright, that brings us to Bandit 7, here in the middle of the room. And so he's also kind of looking around a little bit, shocked and confused, and he kind of turns to this Duergar that's standing next to him here. And you kind of hear him kind of frantically say to this Duergar, which ones are we after? And, the Duergar responds, Drow are the ones that are the problem. And so the bandit kind of gets a little bit of resolve, and he runs over this direction and strikes at this drow here. I'm missing. And missing. Whiffing it both times. Alright. In the hallway out to the east, and like Torda, you can see this really from where you are, since you're kind of right up in everybody's business. As a businessman should be. You see, kind of stepping around the corner here, a pretty ornately dressed drow. He's got this real dashing hat on. It's one of those like kind of stereotypical kind of long pointed like archer looking hats that you see in like fantasy stuff. Comes like a big point way out in front and back. And these kind of deep blue robes, or not robes, these deep blue kind of garments, these fine garments that he's got on. And he's holding onto a rapier. He looks somewhat familiar. Torda, if you want to roll a history check for me, see if you recognize who this particular guy is. Okay. So you remember seeing this guy before, particularly when you had all the business on the ships in the dock area with all the drow. And also when you were infiltrating those ships a long, long time ago, stealing a logbook. You recognize that this guy was the captain of those ships, Captain Zord, as he called himself, when he was conversing with you all. But he sees you, Torda, and he sees the rest of you in the back. And he calls out to the two drow that are in here and says, leave them, our quarrel's with Xanathar. And he kind of motions to call them kind of back to himself and kind of turns around with a flourish of, this kind of short cape that he's got on. And he moves out of sight. Alright, Duergar number 2 in the middle here. He also kind of looks around a bit, but joins his comrade over here on this drow. And as he's running over to this drow, this Duergar kind of like doubles in size. Like as he's running, like he's getting larger. And, to those of you like Boo where you're at and, Zai where you're at, it's almost a little confusing to see because he's running away from you but getting larger at the same time, so it doesn't quite make spatial sense in your mind. Chicken eats a hat. The priorities. Screw the artifact. We're here for the hat. But he runs over to this drow here and uses enlarge, doubles his size, and kind of hefts this war pick off of his back and brings it down on this drow. Missing. Bandit number 9, he got toasted. Let me delete him so we have less things in the combat tracker. This one is slightly toasted. And he looks up at you, Boo, on the wall, and pulls out or kind of unhooks a light crossbow from his hip, slaps a bolt into the top of it here, and points it up in your direction, up on the wall here. Hitting 9 damage. This bolt comes up, striking you, Boo. But you managed to keep hold of the wall there. Jinku, you're in the back here in the hallway.
I don't imagine there's really space for me to get up next to Zyara. Looks like it's pretty narrow.
I don't know
Rather
about.
large.
I don't know if you could get like next, but if you wanted to get like past Zyara, and either try to
Like, could I
push.
get within like melee range with the bandit, or would it be too tight?
I'd say if you were wanting to get in melee range with the bandit, you could, get up, run up the hallway there past Zai, who I assume would let you pass, and you'd probably push past the bandit guy. He'd probably try to get a strike on you in the process.
Well, I don't want to get past him. I want to get in with Bandit 2 there. But if there's not space to get there by Zai, I have other ways I can.
Okay. Yeah. Side by side, I'd say no in this particular hallway.
That's fine. I'll shoot at him with my longbow then.
Cool.
So I'm gonna attack him twice. There's one. That one. And then my second attack.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. Laying in to this guy with these arrows. They're zapping in. They're zipping into him. This scythe's hovering menacingly behind him, and it's, what was that, like purple flames, of course, or something, if I remember correctly.
purple and black and
purple
glowy
and black.
and
That's right.
it looks very ominous.
Very, 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 very goth.
I know. Thank you.
All right. Anything else besides your bow there, Jinku?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Mix is gonna be me. Okay. Let's see. Jinku. Mix. Let's see. Where's your sheet? Okay. Mix. He's probably gonna bust out his trusty Eldritch Blast here and try to latch it onto this bandit. Why is Mix restrained? He should not be.
Boo.
Big hug.
Boo! Boo tied his shoelaces.
And from that day forward, Mick started wearing Velcro shoes.
Velcro shoes. Oh man! All right, Eldritch Blast on Bandit number 2. Come on, there we go. Bam. Nice. Okay. And nice. All right, with the Eldritch Blast arcing past you, Zai, crackling through the air, hitting this guy. Bandit 2 is no more. And the way is clear in front of you into this room of fuckery. Alright, Drow, Elite Warrior 1. He's been getting wailed on by everybody back here. He... Let's see here. All right, so you see him kind of like raise one of his arms up, like you see him like reach into like a pocket and raise his arm up, and then he like throws something down onto the ground, and you see this kind of cloud of darkness start to spread out in this corner here where they're all at. So this fills up like a 15-foot circle in this area. So this would be, it's like Torty, you get a whole bunch of darkness around you, and it kind of spreads almost halfway across the room here. And you lose sight of all these guys in here.
Torta wouldn't lose sight. His Vidge gives him true sight.
The what? The what?
What is it called? The Way of the Astral Self. The thing that he has now.
Oh, very nice. Okay, nice. Okay, because yeah, the darkness. If you have dark vision, you can't see through it. But if you have true sight from your monk stuff, then you should still be able to see. So awesome.
It gives me astral sight. I can see in darkness, both magical and non-magical.
Sick. That's cool. All right. So you're still able to see all these dudes here, and as you know, as this kind of cloud spreads, you see this drow go to move down this hallway, and you get an attack of opportunity, Torta. All right, see, that rolled a 17. One hot second here. All right, so when you did your attack of opportunity on this guy running away, so one of your fists comes in to smack him, and as you do so, you see him kind of like fling one of his arms up behind him as he's running away, and your fist almost like gets parried off of some kind of magical shield that he puts up as a reaction to your fist coming in, and he manages to be high enough to deflect that roll, parries it off of him. So let me fix that damage here. Let's see, 50. Okay, fixed that. Cool. All right, so he runs. You see him run with your true sight out of the hallway here, and you see him also run to the south, around the corner. Jordy, you also see, kind of coming down the hallway from a north. He almost doesn't. He doesn't even like look into the room as he goes past. But you see another bandit, kind of in the kind of Xanatharian garb that you've seen around, come running by, scimitar out, seemingly chasing after the drow that are heading to the south in the hallway. Drow Elite Warrior number 2, the other one here in the room, also shrouded in this darkness cloud that's covering this half. He moves as well. You go ahead and get another attack of opportunity, Tordo. We'll see if that roll takes or not. That one does. Okay, he does not parry that one, so go ahead and roll. Nice. All right, so you get a good smack in with this fist. He almost stumbles a little bit, and as he runs, and kind of almost runs right into this Xanatharian bandit that's right here in the hall. And you see him pull out, the short. He already had his short sword out, but he kind of raises his short sword as he's kind of come charging out of this hall, and takes a couple swipes at this Xanatharian bandit. Hitting both times. And taking that guy to the ground. Torda, you see this Xanatharian bandit just go down. Like, kind of a flurry of short sword strikes, and this guy just keels right over into a pile on the ground. And that brings us to... Tordy, you also see another Duergar run up the hallway. Gets up to like kind of right next to where his buddy was, and he kind of pulls his war pick off of his back and kind of seems to be taking a defensive position against this drow coming out of the hall. Boo, you're up on the wall.
Magic missile this bandit.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Anything else aside from magic missile?
I'll move higher up, like towards the ceiling.
Okay. Does your I know you can like walk on wall, like can you like walk on, like upside down on walls? Like this is like a domed room. Like
it gives me climb speed.
Climb speed. Like I don't know if you're like able to. Because I know you're like some sort of half.
It's up to you. This is kind of homebrewed, right?
Yeah. See, where were you half of?
Lizard.
Some kind of lizard.
Half a Delkin.
That's right. Half a Delkin, half hunter. I would say I don't know if you would be able to like fully like stick to a ceiling. So like after a certain point, I'd say you'd probably have a rough time. We'd probably have to roll some things to see if you manage to like get a grip. But I'd say at this point where you are, you're probably still good. But if you went too much higher up the dome, it'd probably be a little difficult for you.
That'll be it then.
Cool. All right, Jinku, the bandit in front is down. What are you doing?
Feet, right?
What about feet?
Square. One square is 5 feet, right?
Yeah, 5 feet.
Okay. I'm gonna use my turn to I'll get sneak past Mix and Zayar right here, and I'm gonna use my turn to
Oh, squeezing right past you.
excuse me. Gonna try you here, and I'm gonna. My damn thing would work here. I'm gonna have to use my turn to dash so I can get over in the fray of things here,
Cool. All right.
and that'll be my turn.
All right. And so, as you're getting over to there, like that part of the room is all like in like a cloud of darkness. So, like if you're running to where that is, like you're just running into a cloud of darkness. You can't see anything. You don't have dark vision.
That's cool.
Okay. Cool. All right. So, Jinko, you're in a cloud with stuff, supposedly.
That's pretty much my life anyway.
Clouds and stuff. Right. Okay. Bandit number 7 here in the cloud of darkness. He tries to take a couple swings at you, Torta, where he last remembers you being. I don't. If I click the disadvantage button and then roll like NPC stuff, will it roll disadvantage for them?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, I wasn't quite sure if that still worked that way. I figured it would though. Okay, so he kind of swings blindly in the darkness here. Manages to hit once at least. The other time whiffed it pretty good. But he gets you, Torta, for minimum damage. One a 1 on the dice. Not too good of a hit, but manages to connect anyways. You kind of hear him go like ah, like when he hits, you can kind of feel the resistance of his scimitar striking into your Torta. So he kind of feels a little happy with himself that he managed to smack you, despite everything. All right, out in the hallway, you guys can't see what's going on anymore. Out there, stuff happens. Torta.
He's gonna turn to the gentleman that hit him.
I sense incoming regret.
5 punches to his face.
Lay him out. Very nice. And that first punch smacked into him with, a pretty solid strike, not like a wildly swung in the darkness strike. You could almost kind of hear the little bit of smugness that he had in his voice just kind of get like socked out of his gut. And, then the couple other punches kind of quickly put an end to that. It looks like.
Regret.
Regret. He goes down.
I feel like that's just the theme of these bandits.
Yeah.
And then I'll go into the hallway. Is the number 2 still standing in there, or did he move out?
The number 2, he would be like right about here. So he's still kind of like right in front of that hallway there.
Coco.
All right, let me delete that other. See, that was bandit number 7. I can delete. Where is he at? There he is. Oof. Cool. All right, so you just move out into the hallway here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So as you kind of get out into the hallway here, the darkness. It doesn't really matter to you in this case, since you have true sight. But like the cloud, you can see it kind of spilled out of the hallway here, and kind of a little bit, and kind of a little area around the entrance here. But then it kind of fades away, and you kind of get back to normal lighting conditions around. As you run out of here, there is the drow to your south, who look to be about ready to go down that direction. And then there's also this other Durgar that you'd seen that ran up, Warpick on his shoulder, kind of getting ready to heft that onto someone. And you also see, kind of further to the south there, the other Drow warrior, the one that you were initially wailing on, kind of heading down that way. You don't see the guy with the hat. He is not in view as you look up and down the hallways around you here.
You find that man with the hat.
Jinku yells from the darkness behind you. Get the hat! Alright. Brings us to Zai over in the hallway on the other side.
Coco, damn it. Just lay down.
When possessed.
I know.
Another assailant enters the fray.
Coco's actually the name of my scythe.
Strange name for a scythe.
Okay, so I'm going to... Okay, I'm gonna go here.
Okay.
Because I think that's as far as I can go without dashing.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna use my scythe to attack Beand at 5.
Okay.
And use my bonus action to attack him again. Okay.
Nice.
And that's all.
Okay. All right. Durgar number 2. Let's see. Here in the Cloud of Darkness, you aren't able to see what he does, since none of you are able to see through all this except for Tordum. But he kind of feels along.
He's actually just doing a bunch of TikTok dances.
Secretly in darkness, where no one can see his shame.
Dance like nobody is watching. And nobody can see you.
But he kind of feels along the wall in here and heads down, kind of farther to the south, trying to find his way out of the darkness here. And bandit number 5. Not looking too great down here with Boo and Zai causing him trouble. But he seems intent on Boo up on the ceiling here. And he slaps another bolt into this crossbow here, shoots, and then kind of quickly slaps another one in there. A little slapdash. Doesn't quite get in there right. Misses. And that is their turn. Which brings us to Mix out in the hallway here. Mix moves up in here with the rest of you all. And let's loose with another Eldritch Blast onto our bandit friend here. Oof. Rolls a 1 on the Eldritch Blast. Ow. Totally whiffed that one.
He got really winded from running.
It was a rough, flat hallway.
It was a brisk jog.
Brisk jog along a flat surface.
Get out of here.
I mean, you know those sorcerer types. Warlock types. I don't remember what he is.
He's a warlock type.
Basement, you know.
Okay.
I mean, this is
warlock
this
types.
is kind of a basement. I mean, you're.
But I mean, he never gets out and gets any sun. You know, his lungs need to get outside and expand. So yeah, a short jog probably does take it out of him.
All right. Which brings us to Drow down here in the hallway. All right. So he kind of continues moving, kind of gets down towards this corner here. But before he goes around the corner, he pulls a hand crossbow off of his hip and blasts it over in your direction twice, Torta, hitting you once.
Wait, he's shooting at me?
Yeah, the hand.
Oh, yeah, boy.
Hand.
Deflect
I wanna
missile.
see his hand, where his
Ooh,
hand
deflect missile. Okay, what does that do?
I gotta read it.
Okay.
Let's see.
is. You guys are that and you're not prepared?
Look, he doesn't need to be prepared for greatness. It just comes to him.
D10
Good. That
plus
was good.
my dex modifier plus my monk level.
Okay, is that like a roll against something?
If I reduce the damage to 0,
Oh, I
I
see.
catch the missile and throw it back.
That's fucking cool. Okay, so yeah, go ahead and roll your d10 plus the modifiers. So if it does more than 9, it looks like undo Uno reverse card.
Plus 26. Or no, hold on. 16, I'm sorry.
So 5 plus 16. Okay, well that definitely takes then. So you managed to catch the one that actually was coming at you.
I'm not gonna spend the key point to throw it back. I'm just gonna deflect it.
Okay. So you deflect this arrow coming in, just kung fu strike, and it just kind of deflects off, and you hear it kind of tink against the stone walls in here, and clatters to the ground. And this drow kind of sees this happen. You see kind of a look of surprise on his face, and he disappears around the corner there. Which brings us to drow number 2, who's right up here in your business. He has a short sword out. And even though he's right up in here with you, Tortum, he seems more intent on this Durgar from the Xanathar dudes than he is at you. So he strikes at this Durgar. Not sure. Oh, that's why. Hitting twice. Doing a pretty significant amount of damage to this Durgar here. And then after taking some strikes, he also turns to go run south down the hall. So you're going to get an attack of opportunity, Torta. Let's see if you roll high enough for him to not parry you. That one does hit. Go ahead and roll the damage on that one. Nice. All right, so you get a good solid punch in as this guy turns to run down the hallway here after the others that he was with, leaving him a little bruised on the way. Okay, that's why. Let me delete this other guy since he's dead that Tor is standing on top of. Okay. The other Durgar here. He kind of lets out this roar after these short sword strikes, and he also doubles in size, standing next to you here, Torta. Like he was kind of similar height to you, and then now he's kind of towering over you a bit. And the war pick that he's got in his back, he kind of just hefts this down on to you. And misses. Alright, Drow Elite Warrior 1. You can no longer see. Torta, at the top of the order.
We're gonna mess up this Durgar.
Okay.
5 strikes.
Volume. Well, it looks like that other drow had pretty significantly damaged this guy already, and with one strike, he's already down.
I am going to run around the corner looking for these guys.
Okay.
And that's all I can do.
Alright. Let's see here. So, let's see. Drow, Elite Warrior 1. That's weird. Why can't I... There we go. I don't know why that wasn't letting me move him there properly. What the heck? Can't move him either. There we go. Alright, let me uncover a little bit more of this hallway here since you're down here. There we go. Okay, so you see the other two down the hallway that way. Torta. And the other one should still be right there. Just went around the corner. Yep. Okay, cool. Let's see, if you had ran past them, I guess that would mean that number 2 would have got a opportunity if you ran past. Did you want to run past him down that hallway just to check, since he is still there, or
Yeah,
are you going
that's
to
fine.
run up to him? Okay. I just want to make sure.
Everybody.
Trying to catch everybody. Okay, cool. Just want to make sure. All right, so let's see. He tries to. Hold on, I gotta put my thing down here. There we go. Okay, so he tries to take a smack at you here as you run past, missing you too fast. Okay, let me get back up to where we were. That Drugar is dead. Okay, the other Drugar. Alright, so the one in here, he continues feeling along the wall, moving to the south, finds his way out of the darkness. He is still large. And as he comes out of the darkness, he sees you up on the ceiling here, boom. And it goes to chuck a javelin in your direction, which hits and does double the damage since he is enlarged.
Rude.
And that is...
Blood's just like raining down from the ceiling.
right? Fucking metal in here right now. Zai.
I am going to see. think I'm whale on this bandit support.
Okay.
And I will use my bonus action. Okay.
All right. Bandit 5 is very
He's
not looking.
Die already?
He is not looking too great here. From all the wailing on him and the thematic raining of blood from the ceiling above him from Boo. All right. So out in the hallway here, Captain Zord. He sees you, kind of running up after him toward him, and he kind of turns and he kind of looks at you chasing him, and he says, "If you know what's good for what you're looking for, you might want to hold off. I have some key information that I'm afraid you're not going to get out of me as a corpse." Here's what he looks like, by the way.
Yeah, Jenku definitely needs that hat.
Yeah.
Dude, if you only knew the power that was in that hat, yes, you would want it.
He just wants it because it looks fucking cool.
This dude is like one level from being a Forgotten Realms god.
Jinko don't give a shit about power. She just wants to look awesome.
I'll slow, but I'm still gonna pursue.
Okay. As he says this, like kind of in your direction, he has like a kind of like a belt of daggers that he's kind of wearing around his waist here. They all come flying off of his belt. There's about 8 of them, and they all kind of hover up in like a circle behind him, like kind of slowly rotating around in a circle, pointing in your direction. Boo, or not Boo, Torta. He kind of takes a defensive position with this, as he kind of calls out to you about this this info that he has. As he sees you slowing, kind of moving, kind of slowing a little bit in response to this, he's like, "We're after the same thing, But I don't think you know where it is, do you?"
Torto just look at him and kind of flex all the arms. I'm just the muscle. I don't care where anything's at.
Well, if you're just the muscle, then I'm sure some of your friends may be more interested in listening if they can get here.
Yeah, I'm sure Boo. He's probably the smartest guy I've met. Would be the one for you to talk to.
And as he's like kind of talking to you about this, like you can see him kind of motion to these other two drow that are with him here to kind of stand down, because you heard it before when he first ran past, but it sounds like they're not here for you, you guys. All right, so with that happening, while that conversation's going on, Jinku, back in the other room. In the darkness.
Jinku, because she knows she was kind of heading towards Torta and the other side of the room. She just kind of keep inching forward, trying to find the exit.
Okay. You do, pretty quickly find the kind of curved wall and feel your way along it. All right.
And I would say just probably leaving the room is all I would do for this turn.
Okay. So as you step out of the room, the darkness kind of starts to dissipate here outside the door. You can see a little bit more. On the ground, you see a pretty slashed up looking Durgar and another one of these Xanatharian bandits that looks a little punched in. And looking down the hall, you see one of the other drow kind of standing down there looking to the east, and you kind of hear some conversation happening. You can't quite make it out. And Boo. Bleeding on the ceiling.
I want to move over here and then drop down onto the ground.
Okay.
And then, when I land on the ground, I'm going... Maybe, just a little bit. I don't want to hit Mix there, but I'll cast Lightning Bolt.
Nice. Hitting through both of those two?
Yeah.
Nice. Fire away. Nice. Alright, so that lightning bolt blasts bandit number 5 out of existence. The Durgar takes it in stride in his enlarged state, but still takes a pretty decent chunk of damage here from that. Anything else?
No, that'll be my turn.
Okay. Alright, Drow Elite Warrior 2. He, has his weapon away per, Zord's motion here. He kind of moves very slightly, just kind of along the wall here, keeping an eye on you, Torta, but doesn't have any weapons out. As you guys are chit-chatting, Mix moves up over here, and... Which one does this? Alright, so he comes up towards this Durgar here that just got blasted from behind by Boo, and he lets out a Witch Bolt on to Durgar 2. Misses.
Mix is still really winded.
Damn, Mix.
When we get home, we're getting him on an exercise program.
God damn. Oof. Okay. Sad rolls. Jinku, you're out here in the hallway. You just saw the drow to the south of you here kind of, move a little bit out of sight down this hallway here.
And I will come down here behind.
Torta, you see Jinku coming up the hallway behind you.
I think seeing Torta not attacking, not fighting with them, probably would actually stop Jinku from doing anything.
Okay. That's a reasonable assumption, yeah. Okay.
Because Jinku's more of a follower than a doer.
Fair. Fair. All right. So you come around the corner here, and as you kind of come around, Zord over here on the other end of the hallway, like you see the kind of flying, rotating circle of daggers up behind him here. He says, "Ah, well, another one seems to have made it. The rest of them will follow, I presume."
Yeah, we're just cleaning up the trash behind us.
Yeah, there's just one left they're working on.
Very well. We can wait a little longer. My distractions elsewhere can keep things at bay.
That's an excellent hat, sir.
Why, thank you. It came from a voyage far across the sea, quite some time ago.
Junior's gonna start thinking that the way to get cool hats is to become a pirate.
I mean, that's a pretty solid assumption generally. Pirates do have the cool hats.
We do.
All right, Tor, are you still continuing to kind of just hold here in this kind of standoff here with these guys?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. The other Drow warrior does the same. Continues standing off. Boom. Mix just whiffed another big one here.
Yeah, that's normal. What's the Dwargar's armor?
Let me see. I don't know if he really has much. Let's see. Let's see. I would say it's kind of like a mix of leather with some metal. Kind of like a medium armor of sorts. Like it's got kind of like it's kind of like some plates that are joined together with like leather pieces in between them that are able to kind of let them expand a little bit when he enlarges. So it's not like a solid piece because that wouldn't work very well.
Okay, plates of metal bonded with leather.
Yeah, I'd say something along those lines. That makes sense.
Sweet. I'm gonna cast heat metal on his armor.
All right, I figured that was what was coming there.
He can do the saving throw, I suppose.
Okay. What's it? Saving throw of?
It's a con saving throw to see if they can't try to drop the object.
Okay.
I mean, armor takes like a minute or 5 minutes to take off anyway.
Yeah, since it's an armor, I wouldn't say he'd be able to like really drop it or get out of it super easily, especially in like an enlarged state, because like it still fits, but it's definitely a little tighter on him enlarged than it is when he's normal sized. So I don't think he'd be able to really get it off. So yeah, he'd fail whatever that save changes.
Oh, they just take damage. Oh, come on!
Oh, double snake eyes.
Oh my god.
A little,
That would have been so epic.
a little spicy.
Rip.
The Duergar feels a little sweatier. Oh, dang, that was unfortunate.
It felt like he forgot to put deodorant on this morning.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't have
The-
disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks now.
Ooh, very nice. Okay, well that's at least something useful there. So, yeah,
Since you whiffed that
He's-
damage.
he's feeling like he's feeling some chafing a little bit with that damage. All right, Capzor keeps waiting out here. Mix It's going to try.
Can he do anything?
We shall see. Eldritch Blast, the old standby, with a crit.
Oh, about
Woo!
It's something.
He finally recovered.
Ooh. So he, recovering from his embarrassment and of all these whiffs, lets out a crit hit with the Eldritch Blast, dealing 39 damage to the Durgar here.
for
And
the two that Boo did.
and he goes down. He kind of gives you a smug glance after that, Boo.
Eat a bag of dicks.
All right.
Good. That was good.
All right. So you guys are currently in a somewhat messy room at this point. Torda and Jinku are nowhere to be seen, probably because there's this cloud of darkness on the eastern end. But you haven't heard anything going on in there. No screaming, no punching. So assumably they're not in there. They're not in there anymore.
I was just gonna go straight based on where the other hall is.
A fair assumption from your knowledge of what you've seen of the room, and you find yourself out in the hall. I'd say we're out of combat at this point, so you can scoot a boot. We'll probably take our little
Scoot,
10-minute break here in a moment.
scoot.
So you guys make it out to the hall. You find the other bodies of another Durgar and the other bandit that's down here. In the hallway, you see Jinku down, kind of waiting. Jinku, do you see some of your comrades coming out of the hallway here? Do you motion for them or call for them at all?
I would probably motion in a come in a cautiously way.
Come hither.
No, we're not coming hither. We're coming cautiously. What the hell, Zyara?
All right, so you guys kind of come down the corner here of this hallway, and Torta's standing here, this Drow's standing here, and you see this other guy with the fancy hat and daggers at the other end of the hallway, and he kind of lets out. You can see this kind of wide grin cross across his face as you all come around the corner, and he says, "Ah, you're all here at last. Come down this way. They won't see you up the hallway if you're out of sight. We can at least converse quickly."
Zyara is cautious, but she follows based on the fact that Torta isn't punching him.
A fair assumption.
And Turtle will kind of be the front man.
Okay.
As I walk by Mix, I tell him nobody loves him.
Odd time to tell somebody that.
I whisper it.
Mix, deeply hurt by Boo's words, sheds a single tear.
And so as you all are kind of coming down here and kind of gathering on the other end of this hallway here, you can see kind of Zord here kind of looking you guys over, and he's like, "Well, this one says he's the muscle. Which one's the brains of the operation?"
That would, of course, be me.
Well,
Mhm. Sure.
I understand that you're here after a little something. An artifact of sorts. And I wager that you don't seem to know where it's at.
Okay.
Turtle has a guess, but he doesn't want to go in that room.
Well, my other comrades are currently in the process of keeping the Xanathar and his other men conveniently distracted for us. And it would, of course, be a shame if Xanathar were to find out the location of you all. I am sure you are well aware of his reputation, and of course what he is.
Yes, we're familiar.
Yeah, we don't really have a problem with him per se.
Well,
Who are you?
well, he would probably have a problem with you.
Yeah, that's fine. Everybody's got a problem with me. It's this guy's fault here.
Well, my sources tell me that you have all been a bit involved in some goings on here in our fair city these past few months. A little game of sorts. A treasure hunt, I guess you could call it. And there's not very many pieces left. Perhaps even just one. I know where it is. Here. And I know how to get to it, too. If we can make a deal, then perhaps we could work together on this and get out of this without being turned into another of Xanathar's house decorations.
What exactly is this deal that you have in mind?
Well, I mean, we are we're a traveling fair by trade, but we get into some other things of interest as we make our way around this weary world. And the word is, there is a significant amount of coin stashed away behind these doors. If you would be willing to perhaps make a donation to our traveling fair in exchange for some information on the location of your little artifact here, and I believe there may be another small piece for the door itself that we may be able to assist you with, then we can let bygones be bygones. I mean, there have been a few of my men that you've taken out in the couple of interactions that we've had, but that can be forgiven. That's fine. But if you'll let me give you a help, you help me help you, we can get out of this hole intact with a few less I-beams pointed our direction.
Define small donation.
Well, let's say I'm a generous man. I know that there is a lot to be had in there, and I'm certain you probably have other uses and needs for some of the things in here. What say you to 20%? Us taking the 20%, of course, not you. I'm a generous man. Surely you can spare a portion of so great wealth.
As long as we are the people that walk away with the trinket, as you called it, I don't see why we can't spare 20% of whatever is in there.
All right. Well, if we are in agreement, then and he kind of extends a hand out in your direction, Boo.
I don't shake hands with people I don't trust.
He kind of chuckles a little bit at that and says, "Well, that is a fair stance to take. Understandable. Well, if we can't shake on it, then." And he kind of reaches into like one of the satchels that he's got on his side here and kind of pulls out a piece of parchment, and he kind of writes down kind of a quick little something on here, and you kind of signs it with a flourish and hands it over to you, Boo, with the feather pen. You kind of read over it here, and it's just kind of a pretty simple document describing this deal. That in exchange for 20% of the hoard in this stolen cash, he will allow you the information on the location of the artifact piece, as well as continuing to keep the Xanathar busy until we are all out.
I'll sign it.
And that's where we stand. So we're in the hall. So
Wait, how much did you give away, Boo?
right.
I did not give away to anything. The cleric agreed. Sarah agreed that.
This is 20%.
So, can we kill this guy after we retrieve it and keep it?
No.
Yeah, technically an option, but there maybe are
No.
complications with that. But yeah, deal has been made, so you guys are all here in the hall. So Zord, takes back this piece of parchment after you scribbled on it for like a good 30 seconds to a minute with all of your titles. Boo rolls it up and kind of tucks it away in his little side satchel here. And as he kind of looks you all over, as he tucks this away, like the circle of daggers that he had kind of hovering around him here, kind of just defensively until this all got a little sorted. They all kind of fly back down and kind of sheath themselves automatically in this kind of belt that he holds them all in. And he says, "Well, now that we've come to an agreement, let's get down to the business of it, shall we? Conveniently, we are actually right where we need to be." And he kind of points up towards the ceiling. This hallway that you guys are in right now is it's kind of as similar for the other hallway bending off to the north. It's pretty decently wide. The fine carved walls with all of like the eyes and things on either side and the various little Xanathar depictions and whatnot. This hallway is kind of arched, and he points up kind of right above where Boo and Mix are standing at the ceiling. And you all hear him kind of call out something in a language that none of you understand. And in the ceiling, you see what looks like some sort of opening begin kind of sliding open in the roof. Pretty decent sized, kind of circular opening once it kind of slides out of the way. Definitely big enough for a beholder to go through. Once it finishes opening all the way, Zord and his two cohorts, they all kind of make a little motion with their hands and like whisper something under their breath, and cast levitate on themselves, and kind of head up towards that ceiling here. And he kind of looks down at all of you and says, "Well, you do have a way to get up here, don't you? Do any of you have any levitation spells at all?"
Slow fall,
I'll
but I
just
don't
go
think that
cast a
counts.
swarm and float up there.
That works.
Can I see the edge?
Yeah, you could definitely see the edge up there. Like, it seems like it goes, like there's some sort of hallway up there that this opened into.
How high? How far is it? How many feet?
It is, let me see here. It's about probably between like 15 and 20 feet up.
Okay, I'll miss
Oh,
the
shit.
step up.
I'll just jump.
Okay. Zai, Jinku, do you have any
I don't think
ideas?
I do.
A
Ideas?
giant-ass elephant person who sucks at my magic. I ain't got nothing.
I can lower a rope.
Yeah, if all else fails, lower a rope.
Jinka
Definitely.
can throw me.
All right, so you all managed to kind of get up there in your own little ways. Finally ending up with a rope for Zai and Jinku up the rear, and you all manage to get up into the top here to this hallway in the ceiling. Let me uncover some more stuff here for you. Okay. So, in this hallway, you guys are all kind of gathered around it up in this hallway. And it's pretty decently sized. Again, big enough for, a beholder to get through. And this hallway gently kind of slopes upwards. Upwards to the south, and then seems to go around a corner to the west. And Zord and his compatriots here kind of motion for you all to follow along, and they head down the hallway here.
I'll follow pretty close behind.
Okay. All right.
Computer's lagging so much.
Oh, right. Sorry. Let me reshare the map for you, Mix. There you go. All right. So you guys all pop out of this hall. Here, Here we go. Make those guys at least neutral now. They're no longer direct enemies. There we go.
They're frenemies.
They're frenemies. Alright. Everybody's in here. So you guys step out of this hallway here, and you find yourself in this very luxurious, large room. This magically lit room, you can kind of see those kind of magical lights that you've seen elsewhere in the rest of this place, all around. The ceilings are like 30 feet high, so like when you step out of this tunnel, like the ceiling kind of rapidly goes up above you here. And there is you can see, looking around in here, the walls are even more ornately carved than, some of the other ones elsewhere. The floor is some kind of like really luxurious purple stone. You've never really seen anything like it before, and it's polished to like a fine marble sheen. There's these kind of luminous violet particles that drift all throughout the air like mist. They almost kind of look like some sort of like maybe mushroom spores or something. They seem to kind of fill the air, kind of floating lazily around. Kind of dominating the room, kind of just to the south of where you guys are, is a 20-foot diameter fishbowl that takes up a pretty decent amount of space, filled with water. It has a small coral reef inside of it, a miniature shipwreck, and a sunken treasure chest at the kind of bottom of the bowl. And then there is also a smaller fishbowl that is 3 feet in diameter, which is resting on a little pedestal next to the larger bowl. And inside this smaller bowl, there is currently a trout-sized, like goldfish-looking fish that's kind of circling around in this smaller bowl at the moment. There is a 10-foot diameter mirror embedded in the western side of the room that seems kind of ornately carved and seems to have some engravings around the edges. And there's also, there seems to be kind of another room to the south, kind of behind some some kind of decorative shelvings. You can't quite see what's back there where y'all are at the moment. And as you guys are kind of looking around at this, pretty extravagant place, Zord kind of motions in the direction of the gigantic fishbowl and says he keeps it in there.
Of course he does.
The treasure chest isn't just a decoration.
Can I cast Detect Magic on the treasure chest?
Sure.
Sort of just hops in. It feels like home.
Yeah, right. So you cast Detect Magic on the treasure chest. You don't detect any magic on the treasure chest. But you definitely detect a lot of magic all around you in the air.
Okay. Sai tells Torta to open the treasure chest.
Okay. So, Torta, you're swimming around in this gigantic 20-foot diameter fish bowl. And head down to the chest at the bottom. Crack it open.
Yep.
Alright. The chest is unlocked, surprisingly. And you pop it open. It seems pretty lodged in the base of this bowl. It's kind of partially buried under some of the fishbowl rocks and stuff. But the chest pops open, and inside you find a few interesting things. You find a large number of finely cut gemstones, 30 of them, in fact. And you also see another one of those eyes. It seems to look pretty much the same as the other two that you've already retrieved. And there is also a ornate, looks like a brooch, like a cloak brooch. And it has a large teardrop-shaped sapphire that is embedded in it. And as you pick this up, Torda, you're kind of looking over it, and there seems to be some engravings on the back side of it, but it's a little it's pretty finely engraved, so it's a little tricky to read it in the water right now.
Yeah, I'm just trying to scoop everything up and get the hell out.
Okay. While Torto's checking around in the fishbowl here, are you guys doing anything else? Looking around anything else in the room here?
I don't think so. I don't think I'm fucking around in this place. I don't want to get on this Xanathar's bad side. It's more than I already had.
Okay. So everyone in here, except for Torta, who's currently in the water, everybody roll a D100. Okay. So, all of you that are kind of standing around in this room, as you've been standing here, there's been all these kind of floaty violet things in the air. You begin to feel a little strange, and everybody is afflicted by some short-term madness effects by these spores that are in the air. Boo, you temporarily fall unconscious. You're feeling kind of funny in the head, and you just straight up pass out on the floor for a moment. And Zord and his dudes, they seem to become frightened and all kind of head, like one of them seems to kind of try to head back down the hallway that you guys came in. The other two kind of run to the northern end of the room, seemingly trying to get away from some imaginary invisible thing. Jinku, you begin babbling incoherently.
How's that different from any other day?
Zyara, you begin punching just with your fists, Jinku. And Mix, you are overcome.
Is this a psychic thing?
It is madness. It doesn't specifically say it's like a psychic spell. It's just like an effect of madness that is caused by the stuff in this room here. But yeah, I remember you have some psychic stuff. What are you looking at there?
Well, I have dual mind, which is when you make a wisdom saving throw, you can use a reaction to gain an advantage. Blah blah blah. And mental discipline, you have resistance to psychic damage, and I have psychic glamour.
Okay.
I have advantage on ability checks for insight, intimidation, performance, and persuasion.
Okay. I would say, with your like dual mind thing that you've got, I'd say you would probably be able to kind of compartmentalize the madness into one of those and kind of keep your wits about you with
Do you want me to make a wisdom saving throw to see?
Yeah, let's go ahead and it doesn't have like a specific type of check for it, but yeah, let's do like wisdom. That makes sense. Ooh, okay. I would say that you are still going to have an effect, but it won't be as long as everyone else's. So you are... Let's see, what was it you rolled? 86. You kind of find yourself stunned. Like you feel like you are frozen in place from whatever is going on. Like I told you, you kind of see this from within the fishbowl here as you're kind of digging out these other gems and things and whatnot. You see, Zai start punching Jinku. You see the drow all kind of go running around. Boo collapses.
And does it look like it's related to the spores or whatever?
Roll a nature check for me, because I feel like with what you are and where you're from, you might have experience with like spore type things. Ooh. So in terms of your experience with kind of spore related stuff, you definitely have experienced mushrooms that have effects on things, or spores from exotic plants and things, but not this particular kind. These seem to be from somewhere you've never been.
To be fair, didn't you forget where he came from?
That is also true. He did forget where he came from the Chimericron in the horror wagon. So that check fail does check out, lore-wise. Good point.
I'll just start splashing water on people from the aquarium.
All right. Seems like a reasonable assumption. All right, so Torda, you're trying to like splash people. Mix, you managed to kind of shake off this stunnedness before everyone else kind of shakes off what's happening to them. Do you do any checks to try to figure out what's going on at all, Mix? Once you kind of get your mind clear, I would say if you want to do a nature check, because I mean you do like alchemy stuff, and I've dealt with a lot of plants. If you want to do a nature check to see if you know what the heck this stuff is, that would make sense. Nice. Okay. So, Mix, you have heard of these before in your studies and alchemical workings. These purple spores are from plants in the Underdark, and they are infused with a type of magical radiation called Fairzres. And you don't have to like breathe them in to be affected by them. Like just being near them, unless you take proper precautions, will affect you with various types of madness.
Can I use my Dro arrows or my blowgun with Dro poison and knock everybody out and drag them out?
I mean, you could knock everybody out. I mean, like as you're kind of like looking over these, like they kind of begin to be shake. They kind of begin to shake the stuff off. Like the drow dudes that you're with kind of stop running around and kind of stop and look a little confused as to what's going on. Zai stops punching Jinku. Jinku stops incoherently babbling and just regularly babbles. Boo, you kind of wake up on the floor, kind of flat on your back, a little confused as to how you got here. So like it doesn't seem to last particularly long, but it seems to be some side effect of this this stuff. As you're all kind of shaking us out of this, like Zord's kind of wiping his brow and says, "Whew. Well, that is certainly not something I had planned for." Haven't seen this sort of thing in decades. Reminds me of home a little bit.
Fucking weirdo.
Were you able to get everything out of that treasure chest?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, well, unless there's anything else the captain here has intel on, maybe we should retreat from this room before we succumb again.
Well, I do have a little more info. That brooch there. It's kind of an interesting design. It looks like something. Looks like it was a gift. Didn't have any information. Actually, didn't have any intel on that, so I'm curious as to what it is.
Brooch?
Yeah.
Is that something in the room, or is that something one of us is wearing?
It's the brooch that I picked up out of the.
Yeah, it was in the treasure chest. There was some very fine engravings on the back that were a little tricky to read in the water, but you could probably read them pretty fine now.
What do they say? What's on the back?
What's
I'll
in the
hand
box?
it to you because I have no interest in it.
So you turn over this brooch, boom, and on the back it says, "Dearest Daggelt, to remind you that you have taken all my tears and filled my life with joy. Yours always, Alethea. And if you want to roll a history check for me real quick, Boo. We're going to see if this jogs an old memory here.
Well, I remember.
Well,
Boo remembers too. So, why don't you fill us in what you remember there, Boo?
I just remember this is a love letter, right, between the one friend's dad and his mistress. Thing.
Raynard's dad?
And yeah. And we've been looking for this since like the beginning.
Yeah, because Daggle is the one that these eyes are all tied to, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like treasure vault that we're trying to find.
So, Boo, you remember additionally in your mind, and whether you divulge this information at this particular point with these other guys around is up to you. But you recall when you got 2 parts of the 2 eyes in the stone, and because you have attuned to it, you heard in your head a phrase that said, "Bronze scale of dragon, Alethea's tear, visage of that which you hold most dear. If a large debt you need to repay, bring these 3 to the vault to open the way." So you recall hearing that in your mind from the stone in the past.
I will share this. I think I can do telepathy. No. Yeah.
Okay.
Then I won't say anything.
Okay, you just won't say anything right now. Okay. All right. So like, you read off the back of that, and you're remembering these other pieces of information in your mind, and Zord is kind of nodding at the love letter on the back, and he's like, "Well, a gift to Daggelt. Perhaps Xanathar kept this here as a prize alongside the other piece, since this is all Daggelt's in the end anyways, isn't it? Interesting. Well, that's of no use to me. Keep that for yourselves if you so wish."
Yeah, no problem.
Mix, where you're standing in the room here, you can see kind of into this other little side room down here in the south. And it's kind of an interesting looking room what's down here. There is a large 6-foot diameter bowl. It's not solid. It's made out of like a lattice of pulsating crystals with multicolored light, and it floats about 10 feet off the floor in the middle of this. And behind it, in the corner, there is a very mangy straw pallet in the back corner. And you are surprised to see Ott, Steel Toes, a dwarf that you guys have come to know decently well. He's currently sleeping on this straw pallet in the back of this room here. Here's Ott.
Yeah, Ott's the shit.
Yeah, he's sleeping back there and has not noticed all of you at all.
I'll cast prestidigitation and clean him up.
All right. You make him look a little nicer. His beard's a little more nicely arranged. The dirt's off of his face and hands and whatever other grime. You see
a follower of Xanathar, though?
him? Oh yeah, he was actually how you guys got into this whole place in the first place, because he's kind of like a, you know, a somewhat, maybe not a right hand man, but a hand of some sort of Xanathar.
Waking him seems like a terrible idea,
I didn't wake him. I cleaned him.
considering
He's
we're
my bro.
stealing from Xanathar.
Yeah, prestidigitation doesn't wake him up. It's just kind of magically gets the dirt and grime off of him in his sleep.
It's a magic dustbuster.
Yeah, magic dustbuster. Yeah, he's some sort of hand man of Xanathar. You know, he was the one who kind of got you into this kind of tournament down here in the first place, and you know he owes you his life a bit. You rescued him a long time ago. Has a cool little hat, little Xanathar hat. You see, kind of laying near him on the floor by this pallet, what looked to be various, like fish tank cleaning tools, and like a little thing of like feed for this fish. Seems like among all the other things Ott does, Ott's the fish guy. The goldfish and the bowl on the pedestal has been like kind of eyeing all of you this whole time, kind of as it circles around.
I'll use
Probably not gonna
prestidigitation to clean the fishbowl too.
All right. The fishbowl is nice and sparkly.
Now this piece of jewelry we got, that's what we're here for, right?
The eye was what you were here for. What you did which was also in the treasure chest, along with.
We need to be getting the fuck out of here.
Mm-hmm.
That's the idea. Well, let's do that. Let's get the fuck out of here, guys.
All right. So Zord kind of looks at y'all and says, "Well, seems you've got what you came for. We'll be in touch about the other part of our agreement."
Yeah. I'd say it was a pleasure if it was.
All right. So you guys head back down this hallway here and manage to get out before any more spore business fucks with y'all. So there is the portal that you guys found that went to. Yep, that went to the empty. Yep, and thank you for remembering. There is the Beppis in the basement. You guys promised you would bring with you in exchange for a deal with him for mead type agreements with your tavern.
Beppis man!
Well, the stairs down to the basement are conveniently right near that portal, which was in that little 8-shaped room just to the northeast of where Jinku is currently on the map.
Let's go.
All right. So you guys make your way back down, misty stepping or sliding down the rope out of the hole. Once you guys are all back down here along with Zord and the rest, he again says some word in some language that none of you have any idea what it is. And the portal above in the ceiling closes. And, kind of with a rakish tip of his hat, once you guys get up to, where this breaks off, Zord and his men head off to the north, supposedly to rejoin with whatever other compatriots that he has here, keeping Xanathar distracted. To do whatever he's going to do. But the rest of you can certainly head into that portal room and down the stairs if you want to grab Beppis before you get out.
Yep, let's
Yeah.
go. We
'Kay.
promised him.
All right, so you guys head down the stairs, and in the basement there is the hallway. It heads right to your left to the door that went into the kind of off kitchen where Beppis was kind of locked in. You open the door, and Beppis is still in there, definitely continuing to look more tired than before. He's still been kind of madly cooking things as best as he can to make sure that nothing happens to him or his family. But his face kind of washes over with relief as you guys come busting back through the door, and he says, "Oh, thank the stars, you came back. I was worried. I was worried a little bit. I wasn't sure. I heard there was some commotion upstairs, and I was hoping that nothing had happened. Can we finally leave?"
Happened, but let's get out of here before our distraction fails.
Yes, let's do that. And he kind of eagerly rips off this just dirty, terrible apron that he had on and kind of throws it onto the ground. Kind of gives a couple little stomps on it. He kind of goes like and kind of stomps a little bit and kicks it, and maybe says a curse word or two, and follows you guys out of the doorway and back up the stairs into this little room here with the portal on the ground. All of you zip on through to the other lair.
Yep.
All right. So you all make it through the portal. The lair on the other side is still seemingly empty and unused as it was the last time you guys came through. It seems ever since you guys took out the Mind Flayer a while back, this hasn't been quite as much in service. But you do recall there were a couple ways out of this place. There was a tunnel in the northeastern part of the main room where the little kind of throne chair was, where the brain puppy business happened ages ago. And there was a tunnel in the northeast corner that came out in the basement of some random halflings that lived in the dock ward and had no idea there was a secret tunnel in their basement. So you could certainly pop out there again and give them a spook. Or if you head back through the complex, you could head through the sewers and take the sewer way.
Let's go through the sewers.
All right.
It'll hopefully deal with this smell coming off of Nyx.
All right. So you guys head back through a little lair down here. Passing by in a couple of places, there are some not too pleasant smells. There were some kind of low-level goblin dudes that you guys had bonked in some of the little watchways along the way. They're still here. It's been a few months. It's not very pretty. But you guys make it through out the other side, out the door that opened into the sewer proper, and find yourself back into some of the channels under the dock ward. It takes a little bit of work to kind of remember where exactly you guys all went from there. But after a little bit of wandering in the sewers, you do manage to successfully find some sort of opening that goes up and head up the ladder and pop out in kind of a side street in the dock ward. And aside from Boo getting pretty beat up there, not too worse for wear.
He only took a little damage.
I'm bleeding out my anus.
Yeah, that's just a little bit of damage.
Yeah, there's a javelin tip in here.
Yeah, you're fine.
Walk it off. All right. So, once you're out of here, Beppis again kind of falls to the ground, thanking you all for saving him, and he promises that he will be in touch once he gets back to his family and his apiary about the honey deliveries, and looks forward to prospering along with you all good people.
business with you as well. Stay safe.
Well, I will try. And he kind of heads off down the road to make his way back to his family. All right. So you've got this. You got the brooch. You've got the. At this point, now that you're kind of out and not in earshot of the drow, do you let the rest of them know about the brooch thing at this point, Boo, or not yet?
Yeah, I'll tell everybody. I like purposefully like wait for a time where Mix is like kind of a little bit away enough that you can tell that I waited for that time, but he's still close enough to hear.
Gotta have the little inconveniences. All right, yeah. Boo recalls to all the little saying that he got the last time he tried to attune with the stone about this brooch being part of the door to the vault, and the stone itself was the finding the vault.
Of course, it wouldn't be as simple as just collect the eyes.
No.
Well, whatever the case, we should probably get back to Troll Skull versus standing around in the street where anyone could hear us.
Yeah, let me get us cleaned up here real quick.
Yes, let me go back to my lab.
I'll clean everybody but mix up with prestidigitation, and then I'll pull out my pipe, start smoking, and head home.
All right. So, you guys all make it back home just fine with the stone and the brooch, and 30 very nice gemstones that you guys had yoinked out of the treasure chest.
Gotta love gemstones.
Right.
Sayara requests that she be in charge of the gemstones so she can pay the captain back when he comes around.
That's probably wise.
What gemstones?
Yeah, we're in the treasure chest in the fishbowl.
I didn't tell anybody about those.
Oh, I did not realize. I'm sorry. So,
I handed the brooch and the eyeball over.
all right. So Torta's got a bunch of gemstones. What are you doing with those, Torta?
Nothing. I'll give them, pass them out to everybody.
I was hoping you'd hide them in the mud.
Yeah, I was thinking, just you and I go out and have some fun on the town. But I like some of the people in the group, so I'll share.
All right. Let's see here. Let me see where that. Oops. I'm trying to find what part of the information I'm looking for is. I can't remember which page. Ah, okay. I can't seem to find it right now. All right. So, are, now that you have the other eye part back, are you gonna try to slot that in and try to see what you can get out of that, Boo?
Yeah, I suppose.
Okay. All right. So, you head up to your little tower dungeon. You've got all your stuff. And the artifact and the other two eyes that are already slotted in here. And you slot in this third eye. And you kind of feel this, kind of emanating pulse of some sort of ancient energy kind of come out of this. And, since you've been kind of attuning to it before in the past, immediately your mind is just kind of filled with all sorts of just information. It's just like a stream of consciousness of all of this stuff that's been like stored in here. Like you hear like you hear information like that there is a secret race of tawny-haired bipeds known as fuzzies that live in the high forest. That there was a kingdom of Etheria that ruled a domain from the Sword Coast to the sands of Anarok 500 years ago. You see visions of a invasion with strange invaders wearing insectoid helmets of mithril and gold from a continent far to the west that invaded Faerun. And apparently the stone was used to eradicate all knowledge of the war, thus ending the conflict when it happened at the time, several thousand years in the past. You learn the location of 16 bars of silver that are buried in the backyard of a tavern in the city of Murin in 916 DR. You learn the location of the Nexus, which is some sort of eldritch artifact location. You learn information about an atrocity that was performed during the Crown Wars, that although history has long maintained the dark elf Ilthari attacked the smaller kingdom of Orishar on the thinnest of pretenses to begin the Second Crown War, it turns out that Orishari actually betrayed the Ilthari at the wedding, which was to unite their two peoples, and slaughtered most of the Ilthari royal family, and the knowledge is wiped from history by the Stone of Galore, leaving the official histories to record only the Dark Elves went to the war in retaliation for some sort of aggression, considering that the Moon Elves of Orishar had no connection with Arvandar beyond the trade alliance, and the Ilthari had little to do with the beleaguered elves. It was a thinly veiled excuse to seize land from the Moon Elves. You learn how to cast the spells Black Steel and Midnight Shroud. I'm not sure what those are from. You learn the information about a ritual for the creation of a hell cyst. You learn about the existence of the Shadow Dusk family in the Undermountain. And lastly, you get 2 pieces of information of a tangled barrage of imagery of twisting underground tunnels lit by strange lights, endless fields of corpses, halls of stone, and a golden dragon who ages so rapidly that its scales fall from its skin. The sound of a silver hammer striking stone, a beam of sunlight in a darkened room, a chisel carving dwarven Dethic characters which transform into 2 words that read Brandath Crypts. And then a saying that reads, "Where laid his wife to rest midst bones of sons blood sealed, there where Henri laid himself to rest lies that which open Lord concealed." Info dump. You know some shit.
That's pretty good. Boo will probably
I
never
got
do
about
that.
11th of that.
There's a lot of secrets that have been erased by this artifact over the years. But yeah, the main thing is those last two. Brandath Crypts. Which you do happen to know where those are. You have been there before, in fact.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought we'd been there.
Mm-hmm. And now you know.
I will share the two relevant bits,
Mm-hmm.
but the others are mine.
Understandable. All right. Well, with the artifact completed, I think that's probably a good spot to stop for right now, since we have the information on that piece. Now it's just the door down there. But yeah, nice. That's a big thing that you finally finished.
Yeah, finally got the eye. Yeah.
Fuck yeah. One big chunk of the puzzle. And the end is ever closer. Well, cool. Thanks for coming. We will pick it up next time in 2 weeks. From there, with whatever we get up to. Now that we have that info. So we will see you then. Thanks for coming. Let me see if anybody's even on right now that I can read.
Thanks for running.
Yeah, anytime. Oh, okay, looks like Ray's going. Let's see.
I have to go check on chickens, puppies, and kittens. So
No
see you later.
worries. We'll see you later. Anyone out there watching, we'll see you later too. We'll go raid my friend Ren here. Whoop.